Okay, hello everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well. Today we have a very exciting stream ahead of us. We are joined by F1 esports driver for Scuderia Alpha Tauri, Red Bull Racing esports athlete, and the 2019 F1 esports team champion, Joni Törmälä. Welcome, Joni. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks.
So, as we published across our social media and on our Discord community, make sure to join us there. Yoni will be answering a lot of questions that have been submitted by the Kayak Esports community, as well as any that roll in throughout the stream. Feel free at any point you can type your questions into the chat. Please in English for now, because the hosts currently are English, so for us to read them, the questions need to be in English. But without further ado, let's get right into it. If you're ready, Yoni.
Yep, let's go.
Awesome. So let's just start with something simple, just your basic background. Who are you? Where are you from? And how did you get into this whole scene?
So I'm Joni Törmälä. I'm originally from Haapajärvi, Finland. Now I live in Kokkola. I got into this. Well, I started racing competitively already in 2009. So I've been doing this for a long time. Then I kept doing it it started to get more professional in 2017 when F1 announced a new esports series, and I qualified for the semifinals and then to the finals, and I think I was 10th in the end. So yeah, it kind of all started there.
Okay, so did you get right into the competitive side, or did you play any games more casually at the beginning, or did you jump right into the competitive?
Yeah, I played casually from like early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I played like the really early Formula One games.
Mm-hmm.
Then I played a lot of Counter-Strike
Yeah.
1.6 and Source.
Yes, the classic for
Uh,
the Finns.
yeah. But yeah, then I found Live for Speed in 2009 and started competitively right away, pretty much.
Okay. So you mentioned just there that you played a few of racing titles in your history. How do they compare to what you're focusing on now with F1? Are they similar in many ways, or are they quite different?
Yeah, the games have developed a lot
Mm-hmm.
since, let's say, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But still the main idea is the same. You go as fast as you can
Yeah.
and try to win, pretty
Yeah,
much.
exactly. And how's
But the physics are improving a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And how's the community been improving? Have you seen a greater interest now with what F1's doing with the racing scene?
Yeah, I think it's been growing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
especially last year, mainly due to COVID, because we
Mm-hmm.
had all the virtual GP stuff last
Yeah.
year, and that brought a lot of attention because there was many real F1 guys driving.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say last year especially, it was growing a lot, even though everything was online. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been good to see.
Awesome. And how's the Finnish community for racing titles? I know the Finns love their F1 in general. Does that translate into the esports side as well? Have you been getting a lot of support from your fellow countrymen?
To be honest, I haven't been involved in the Finnish scene too
Mm-hmm.
much at all. But I think Finns are mostly into iRacing,
Okay, yeah.
so there's not too many guys in F1.
Yeah. So, one of the questions we have, I personally think it's great that the traditional players in F1 have really made the transition into the esports side. So, a lot of the main players, you are a Red Bull esports athlete. So, how has it been working with the Red Bull team, and how did that all come about in the beginning?
Um, it's been great. It originally started in 2018 when there was the first F1 Esports Pro Draft. Um, then I there was like a racing competition in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and I chose to drive with Red Bull, and I ended up winning all the heats, all the races, winning the whole thing, and they were really excited about that, and then they picked me in the draft after all.
Okay, awesome. And what's the team like there? Do you have a good communication with them, and they offer you probably a lot of support? I see in the back there you have the mini Red Bull fridge. So
Yeah, yeah, they offer a lot of support. It's been great. The almost 3 years I've been here now.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, they're obviously learning still, but I
Yeah,
think now especially in 2021, they already know what esports is like, and it's
yeah,
just gonna get better.
yeah. Exactly. It's been improving so much over the years.
Yeah.
So did you grow up watching traditional F1 at all, or did you just get into it for the game itself?
Yeah, I've been watching F1. I heard since like late 90s already, so
Okay,
there
so
is a lot of background, and I'm
yeah, you've
still
been in.
watching it.
Okay, awesome. So you've been for a long time now.
Yeah.
Okay, have you done any like in-person racing physically, or is it just all in the digital space?
Um, I've only done go-karting like a
Okay.
couple of times, but that's
Hmm.
it. I'm not interested
No
to
interest, yeah.
drive in real life at all.
Yeah.
Only esports.
Hmm. So as the COVID times, and of course, all esports tournaments have moved fully into the digital space. How was it before the pandemic? Was there a lot of LAN events and in person for you guys, or was it still majority online?
Before COVID, especially in 2018, there was loads of LAN events. I think I was somewhere like every month at least. Um, yeah, the COVID has definitely affected that. Like
Yeah.
2020, we had zero LAN events.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah.
all online.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know how it's gonna be this year, but
definitely been affecting all the scenes, but I can definitely see it in F1 as well. And you
yeah.
mentioned that when back in 2018, 19, or early 19, when you were traveling a lot to these different LAN events, was it difficult? Do you prefer it online when you're able to do the majority of what you do from your home, or did it affect you with all the traveling, or do you prefer to be in a physical environment?
I always prefer LAN. I
Hmm.
think there's something way more exciting about LAN environment than
Yeah,
being at home.
yeah.
It's really it's really hard to get into that proper competitive zone at home. So yeah, prefer LAN all the way.
Okay, yeah, that's I think the common answer we usually get
Yeah,
from any player, regardless of title. That you can't really replace the physical lens.
yeah.
So, in terms of your practicing and how you prepare before a race, be it at a physical LAN event or when you're at your home online, how do you usually prepare for a traditional race?
Um, I think it depends on the series, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Um, there are some series, let's say in a let's say more realistic simulator, I think you need less time to practice the actual driving because you get that natural feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
But F1 being so competitive, uh, I think that's where you need to practice the most. Let's say, for example, this year, I mean last year with F1, I
Mm-hmm.
think towards the end we practiced like 8 or 9 hours a day, and we had no weekends, so it was basically every day.
Okay, yeah, so quite a brutal schedule there.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah. What does the team look like when you're in practices? Is how many people are usually involved, and what are their roles?
Um, we had like 5 people
Mhm.
just driving and working on the setups and all that all that stuff you need to prepare, strategies,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, and I know the racing titles have a lot of statistics and the technical components involved. But do you have any sort of superstitions, lucky socks, or anything that you wear before a race, or is it all just data for you and going in?
Yeah, it's all data. I don't have anything like that.
Okay,
Maybe I should get something.
yeah, maybe it could give you that edge.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of the edge, what do you feel is the main elements that separate you from the other competitors on the F1 track?
Um, I don't know. Uh,
I know it's a hard question.
Probably one of the hardest workers in there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what separates me, and like I I continue doing it. Even like I had some really bad races
Mhm.
every season, but especially now 2020. But I still kept going and did the same practice and same focus. It didn't change at all. So
Yeah.
maybe that's one thing.
Yeah. So the consistency and just how long you've been going at it, the
Yeah,
experience as well. Okay.
yeah.
So you mentioned you had some bad races, as everyone does. Do you have anything you do to get over those hardships that if you go through a bad race or have a bad result? Is it just forgetting about it and moving on, or do you like to look into the VODs afterwards, or how do you get through those type of difficulties if you were to have a bad race?
Um, it depends. If it's caused by my own mistake
Mm-hmm.
or my own poor driving, then yeah, I try to think of it, and if I have a VOD, I'll look at it. Yeah, but if it's caused by someone else, for example, breaking my front wing or
Yeah.
whatever, there's nothing I can do really. Just
Yeah.
have to move on from that.
Yeah. So I guess on the other hand, away from the bad races, when you had these great races, what is your favorite memory as a in be it F1 or any of the titles you've raced in? I know you were the 2019 F1 team champion. Was that, you think, the one of your best memories in the scene, or do you have a story you could share?
Um, Probably, well, yeah, of course, the championship is one of the favorites,
Yeah.
but the first I always think of was in early 2016. It's almost 5 years ago. I won my first race in iRacing World Championship Series.
Yeah.
After I did it, I think, for 3 years in a row without getting any results,
Mm-hmm.
and then on round one, I suddenly won the race by a lot. And I think that's probably one of the best moments I've had
Yeah.
because I wasn't expecting it, and
Mm-hmm.
then it happened, and then it actually continued from there. I was really good the whole year after that,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, it's usually the victories that you don't expect that are the sweetest.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, the championship 2019 is also really special because we worked so hard for that
Yeah.
for half a year flat out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got it, so it was a great feeling as well.
Awesome. So we had a question from one of the esports business students here, and it's more about, I guess, the business side. And do you have any tips for anyone who's wishing to enter the esports scene, be it as a player or really any other position? Is there something that helps you at the beginning? Is it about networking, or how did you really get into the more competitive scene? Because of course, in any title, there's a lot of good players, there's a lot of great players, but how do you transition that from just being a talented player to actually making it onto one of these teams?
Um, yeah, I think it's mainly about the networking. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not a talent like, let's say, Zaivu in CS,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you kind of have to know the right people.
Yeah.
Um, it also depends on the scene where you meet them. I got lucky enough that everything worked out together
Yeah.
just because I knew the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, but yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I
So
like yeah, sim racing. It's getting bigger now, but it was quite small.
yeah, it was a
Let's
tight
a few
community.
years ago.
Everyone
Yeah,
knew each
yeah,
other. Yeah.
yeah, kinda. Yeah, and like you easily made friends because you were always raising the same people.
Yeah.
So it was easy to make those contacts, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's a complicated question, but I think it's one
Yeah.
that a lot of players are looking for, how they can really make that transition. But at least from everyone that I've spoken to, it's like you said, it's really about the networking and getting your name with the right people in the scene who can help you make the step.
Yeah, I guess just being part of the communities,
Yeah.
being active,
Mm-hmm.
showing what kind of person you are. All that matters really.
Yeah. Do you think, in terms of like percentages, is it majority about your talent in game? Would you say, or is it really 50-50 between how the talent you have in game, but then also how you're able to network yourself?
Yeah, it's probably 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you need to have the talent, of course, but you can't go pro with just the talent.
Yeah.
It's if you don't know anyone, it's just impossible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. So this is one that was quite popular, and I have to ask it. Is it possible to show
Yeah,
us your setup, or could you give us a rundown of what you're using in your average race?
yeah, I think I can show it.
Okay, awesome.
Wait 1 second.
Getting the sneak peek here.
Yeah.
All right.
So wait, yeah. So I have it's AOC 35-inch 200 hertz
Mm-hmm.
monitor. It's really good.
Yeah.
Then I have Fanatec CSL Elite, the one we use in F1 Esports.
Okay.
Then also the pedals, but I don't think I can show them with the webcam.
Yeah. No problem.
And then I have the seat. It's called Play Seat Sensation Pro.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That is
No
quite
problem.
quite the setup. If you're willing to share, how much does one of those the full setup cost if it were to?
Um,
Probably quite a bit.
yeah. I'm trying to think. If you want to get like really high end setup, let's say it's gonna start from 3K, I think.
Yeah.
So it's really expensive.
Yeah, it's quite. I think compared to other esports, it has a quite high barrier of entry in terms of price when you're first getting into it.
Yeah.
We got a message in the chat here that says time to get one of those setups for school. We do have a very basic racing setup here, but it would be great if we can ask Gomp to look into their budget and see if there's something for a racing setup. So
Yeah.
let's go. We have quite a few questions here from the chat. Let's start out. So the first one, are those Red Bulls in the background there only for commercials and advertisements, or do you actually drink Red Bull?
Yeah, I drink Red Bull.
Yeah, big fan. Awesome. Best Need for Speed game.
Um, Underground 2.
Underground 2, good choice. A question here from Vattu. Could you tell more about the draft? Is there anything more to it? So I guess the draft experience. How is that for you, and what's involved?
Well, yeah, 2018 was the first one. We had the racing stuff. Then we had some physical challenges. I think we had something to do with biking, and then we had reaction tests, and then we also had go-karting that
Oh, okay.
was also included in the overall results.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
interesting, actually. How does it
yeah.
compare when in the go kart compared to what you're doing in your setup there? Is it comparable really, or is it a totally different experience?
Um, I think it's comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but go-karting is a lot about how much you weigh, how tall you are, all that
Yeah,
stuff. So the small guys are up there.
yeah, yeah. I was doing some research into the scene before this interview, and I saw that I guess compared to the physical F1 racing and the esports, there's a lot less involved in the like your physicality and also the car itself. It doesn't really take into account in the game, so everyone is at a even playing field compared to the traditional F1. So it's really about
Yeah,
how you race and the racer themselves.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, another question we have is from Hendromis. How does a day in an F1 esports athlete look like? So you mentioned a lot of the times you're practicing for 8 hours a day. So in your daily life, what does it look like?
Well, I can give an example about the last year's schedule.
Yeah.
So I woke up around 10 a.m. Had a coffee, shower, all that. Then we started practicing at 11. We continued that until 2 p.m., so 3 hours. Then we had a around 2 hours lunch break, just to get something to eat and relax. And then we continued again at 4 p.m. and we did another 3-hour session, just driving. Then we had well, either 2 or 3 hour break again, just to get dinner and relax again,
Yeah.
or go out. What do you want to do? And then I think around 10 p.m. we started again for around 2 hours. So we ended at midnight, kind of.
Okay, so quite a very long day.
Yep.
But you do have those frequent breaks throughout the day. Do you see that to be important rather than just sitting at the setup for 8 hours straight? Do you think it's good to get up every few hours and have those breaks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important. I think, well, no, to be honest, you should have even more breaks.
Yeah.
Let's say after every hour and a half, just get up and get fresh air and walk
Yeah.
a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important, especially for your brain, because let's say you drive for 5 hours straight. I don't think that's any productive, really. You're gonna lose that edge
Yeah.
max after 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. It's better to practice properly than practice too much.
Yeah, and it's if you want to get results, it has to be effective.
Yeah. We have another question from Vattu here. Said he's seen a lot of the F1 drivers playing and streaming last year. Have you had the pleasure of playing with or against them? I guess he means the traditional F1 drivers. Have you had the opportunity?
Um, no, I haven't driven against them, but I remember racing Lando Norris like in 2015, 2016 on iRacing.
Oh yeah, how was that? How was that?
Yeah, it was all good. He was slower,
Very
but yeah, that's before he was. I have no idea what he was even racing then. Maybe like Formula 4 or Formula 3,
yeah.
something like that.
That was in the early days, his
Yeah,
career.
yeah.
Another one from Hendro here is how do you keep motivated throughout when you have these long days throughout the week? How do you keep focused and motivated?
That's a good question. um, I don't know. I just want to win so much.
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything else to that.
Yeah,
And
it's,
even though and like, because season is long, and you lose the chance of winning at some point if you're not up there.
yeah,
I don't know. I still want to get the most out of it. I
yeah,
just want to get the results.
yeah. So all the results are the ones pushing you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now we've just come into 2021. What is your plans, the team's plans, if you care to share anything for going into 2021?
Um. Well. There's gonna be a series, from my understanding, from starting March, and it goes on to May. I think.
Mhm.
I can't say the name yet. Then F1 is a bit unknown. Usually, I think we have started September, October, but I have no idea how the COVID stuff is gonna go and
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. So
Mm-hmm.
so it's hard to say. Um, but there's definitely gonna be a lot of stuff to do again this year.
Okay. Another question here. Where do you think esports is headed? I guess more of a general question of the entire scene, not just F1, but in esports. Where do you see it's headed in the future?
I think I think it's becoming more and more mainstream, and
Mm-hmm.
like I think there's more people getting involved all the time, and it's shown on, I think in Finland they show even CS on TV and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So it's getting there. It's getting more popular for sure. Um, I think I think in 5 years it's either gonna be really big
Yeah.
or it's gonna go down a lot.
Yeah. So I guess only time will tell in that case.
I don't think there's anything in between. It's either gonna grow a lot or it's gonna start going down.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna grow
Same here. I
for sure.
definitely hope it does. For
Yeah.
all of us in this call, for sure. I hope it continues to grow. I think
Yep.
that's definitely where it's headed. So, if we don't have any more questions in the chat, where can people find you on the social medias?
Twitter and Instagram is at Joni Törmälä, just my name.
Okay, awesome. Well, I guess at that, unless anyone's going to send anything very quickly here, if you have any questions you guys think of later, I guess you can send them directly to Joni. I thank you very much for joining us today. It's been really informative.
No problem.
Thank you for giving your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, all good. It was a pleasure.
All right, awesome. Well, we will definitely be following your career in 2021. So thank you very much once again. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Awesome. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I think later we will have Sakari coming to stream the Kayak Buffalot in their first match under our organization. So make sure to tune in this evening. Thank you guys. Thank you, Joni.
Thanks.